What do you think people should be cautious about when they start in a business?
I would actually flip that on its head and say, don't be that cautious. Because what I actually see, especially when we're talking about people starting the business, I see people go on the opposite extreme a lot more. They're not too cautious. They're too cautious. They're not like, they don't take enough risks. And I think that's what most business people do. I have spoken at conferences, multiple, let's say 4 years ago, and then I go back and speak this year. I guarantee I'm going to see the same people at those conferences, and I will ask them, what have you done since the last time I've talked? And they're like, no, there's always an excuse, right? I didn't have time. I kind of got busy, all the rest of it. It's because they're too cautious in their businesses. I'm going to speak specifically to online businesses, which is what I know best. Mm-hmm. There's no real reason to be cautious within the law, right? Don't break the law or anything like that. But you can throw up a website and it can bomb miserably, but you spent $50 and you've learned to make a website. So the worst case scenario, you learned a skill out of this whole thing, and you haven't really wasted anything, maybe the $45 you spent on the course, right? Do not be cautious when you're launching the business. There's too much competition out there for you to be hesitant on any of those things. If I had advice for myself 15 years ago, I'd say focus more and be less cautious on my businesses, right? Just go out there, try it. If you don't mind, I'll tell a quick story of a recent trip that kind of changed my life for me. About 12 weeks ago, I had the privilege of being invited out to Necker Island. For those of you who are not familiar with Necker Island, it's where Richard Branson lives. And so the first night we were there, it was a group of 25 entrepreneurs. It was part of his Virgin Unite charity event. And I remember, we were all chatting, and then Richard walks into the room, the whole room goes quiet, and then we pretend he's not there, right? We just go back to our conversations, but everybody knows he's sitting over there. They invite us all out to dinner, and he's got the longest one-piece table I've ever seen in my life. It looks like he chopped down a sequoia tree and he just put it there. Most of us mere mortals take like 5 long tables and put them together. Not this one. One-piece long table. I decide I'm going to sit in the middle of this table because there's so many fascinating people here that, I want to be able to talk to as many of them as possible. So I'll sit in the middle and I'll talk to them. What didn't occur to me, so I was talking to somebody on my left, and I look in front. Richard also sits in the middle table. So he sits right in front of me on the table. To his left sits President Sirleaf, the first female African president in the continent of Africa. And to his right sits Dr. Astro Teller, who's the head of Google X. Pretty much Google X, for those who don't know, is the moonshot factory of Google, where the smartest people at Google works, and he's their boss. So essentially the smartest person and the smartest person and the smartest person in the company, right? So I'm sitting in front of the three of them. We all do small talk, but eventually their conversation goes to a level that I just can't contribute to, right? They're like talking about, remember when, me, Kofi, Mandela, and I were sitting back there and we almost ended the Iraq War. I'm like, honestly, what am I going to contribute to this conversation? Or he turns to the other side and they're like, I think we could end global warming with a seaweed project. What do you think about that? The interesting thing there, and the reason this kind of long story ties back into it, is I understood everything they were talking about, right? There was nothing that they said that intellectually was like, I just don't get it. The problem was, I just don't think that big, right? When I look at a problem, most of us, and most entrepreneurs are guilty of that. We think, how can I grow my business 5%, 10%? We don't think, how can we grow my business 10x this year, 100x this year? We just are not thinking on the scale that these people who are successful in every walk of life, from science to politics to business, are thinking. All brings it back. It's because we are too cautious. We were taught to be this since we were kids. Take little baby steps forward, always have a fallback plan, right? In case this doesn't work out. They did not think that way. At that level, they don't think that way. They just go, let's go for the moon, literally, in Richard Branson's case, right? I'm going to space and that's what I'm doing. How many of us would have even dared to think that? We would have been too cautious. We would never have tried. And that means we would have failed before we even started. So I say, don't be cautious, just do it. Life's too short.